Hi, I'm Reba Hervis, Artistic Director at Overshadowed Theatrical Productions. Welcome to this episode from the Wings.
Hey.
Hey, Rebecca.
Here's my thing. Are we ever going to watch anything that's like we can come on here and be like, oh my word, guys, you have to go watch this?
Well, I don't know. I think that's a challenge to those of you out there to create good theater and good movies that we can look at and say, wow, that was really great. Well,
comment down below if there's a movie that you were like, Reba and Rebecca need to see this to help with and say sorry for all the other awful cinema that we have put ourselves through.
We want to hear what Reba and Rebecca think about this.
Because this was not it. What did we just watch?
So a new movie came out streaming on Peacock, which I didn't even
That's a streaming service.
know about. And it was called Honk, If You Love Jesus. Do you remember what the subtitle was after that? I don't know. I thought it had another couple of words, but I was very intrigued by the title because when I was growing up, there were a lot of bumper stickers that said honk if you love Jesus. And so I sent it to Rebecca and I said, okay, let's watch it.
And I thought this was going to be like the Kendrick brothers. Is it Kendrick?
Oh, you did?
Yes. I was like, oh, it's going to be cheesy Christian. But I was like, okay, I'm down. I'm always down for a little cheesy Christian, you know? Yeah. Fireproof is my life.
I don't know that's what I don't think that I knew it. No. Oh. I thought it was going to be, first of all, better made than it was.
Honk for Jesus, save a soul. That's what it's called.
There you go. Honk for Jesus, save a soul. And so they call it a mockumentary, which is, like my docuplay, a new term that I had never really heard of before.
Docuplay.
So let me tell you, okay, so in the first part of this movie, and Rebecca, throw in anything in it that you would like to add, but you get this idea that this black pastor and his wife have a huge megachurch. It is loosely based on the fall of a church in Georgia. Mm-hmm. Is that where it was? Which was based on homosexuality. And in the movie, this character does kind of come on to a young man who informs everybody that he does have his own boyfriend. So there is a trigger warning of homosexuality, of infidelity in marriage, and so I don't know, gratuitous sex. I don't know.
And there should be a trigger warning of horrible cinematography too. Oh, yeah. My goodness. We were very confused about like flashbacks and like what we were watching, and even like the shots would start normal and it would go like low. Yeah. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, what are we watching right now?
Yeah. So Rebecca, there is a play that I actually really wanted to do here, but we decided it was a little too edgy. And I did it because I wanted to make a point. And the first 5 minutes of this movie kind of reminded me of the play.
What is this play?
It's called The Christians. Have you ever heard of it? So it was performed several years ago at Steppenwolf, I think. And it's an original to Steppenwolf. And it was really interesting because it's the same kind of feel. It's a mega church, and it starts that they're having a huge service, and the pastor is talking about how because of everybody's faithful giving that they're able to pay off their debt and they own the building.
That's eerie. That's like literally.
I mean, I literally was thinking this while we were watching. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is this? The movie goes on and he starts preaching heresy, and he starts preaching something about, hey, have you ever really seen Satan? And
the show
in the play that I went to see.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
And so people are getting outrage, and actually the music director tries to get up and get him to sit down. He's like, I don't know what you're saying, but this is bad. And he really starts preaching heresy. And one by one, all these people who have been really faithful to him start to leave the church. And then eventually even his wife leaves him. And he comes back in, tries to start the church again. And so I'm thinking, oh my goodness,
it's the show.
They took this play and they made a movie about it. The reason I was so intrigued by the play and why I really wanted to do it is because actually at Steppenwolf, they always have a Q&A after every performance.
I love Q&As.
And I stayed for that one, and it was so interesting to see how split we were in the audience.
Ooh.
Of the people who were former, like, grown up in a religious background, but been very hurt by religion. And so we're very against, like, yes, this is exactly what I feel about church and organized religion. And then the other ones of us who were like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. It just, the conversation was so incredible. I have wondered if that's what
they were going for.
It
felt like a mockery. It
felt
felt
like, again, that's what they called it,
but
right?
Without being, I think, did you read a review that it said, like, it felt like a mockumentary, but it wasn't funny?
Right.
I think a mockumentary is supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be like, okay, I get this.
Like The Office.
Yes, like The Office. It's like you can laugh at it even if it's not, and also even if it's not your comedy, you understand that The Office is comedy. Like, I actually wouldn't say I'm a huge Office fan. I'm more Parks and Rec because I like that comedy. That's like comedy to me, but like The Office is kind of just like too dry for me, but I understand that's comedy. This, it didn't even feel like comedy. It felt like they were like, oh, we're making a mockumentary, but like just gonna mock.
Can and I didn't ask like you if you think that the reason you didn't think it was funny is because it hits too close to something that we feel defensive about, and the idea that we don't like people making fun of organized religion. And unfortunately, because we are humans and sinful, it happens way too much. And so maybe it hits a little bit too close to home. Like,
okay, but isn't that good?
Yeah, I do think that's good that we feel that way.
Okay. I'm like, well, it's not a bad thing to not like. I just thought, I thought it was too. I don't think we should be making fun of, because I know like comedy's supposed to be making fun of anything, and like that's what makes it funnier. Where you're like, oh, haha, you're not supposed to make fun of that. Right. But I just think when it comes to church hurt and pastors, like it says in scripture, they are going to be held accountable on a new, like a different level,
right?
And so I think like that's not funny to me, and I think you're right. I think it just that's personal. This is not funny to me.
If somebody made a movie and they made it about somebody trying to start a Christian theater and they made fun of all the bad things about us, I probably wouldn't think it was funny. Or if
someone made it about like a mini Antichrist, we wouldn't think it's funny.
We wouldn't think it was funny.
Yeah.
So I that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, I don't know whether you guys would think it was funny, but I did not think it was funny. I did not think it was well done. And I don't know. Okay, maybe if it was done not as a comedy, but as a let's make a statement. That these things happen, and then the tragedy of this pastor who everybody trusts.
A drama. I would have been down for a drama.
Who's now hurting these boys.
Because it's true. Like, I mean, we've seen it in Chicagoland, like with different mega churches who have gone down, especially over the past couple of years. Yeah. And this is very real. So that's also why it wasn't funny, because we're like, no, this is very real and very awful. But also the way that the church holds pastors on a pedestal, which we never should. Right. There's just all of these underlying. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it would have been so good as a drama, and he would have rocked it. He would have rocked it.
So I think it comes down to the fact that when we're trying to tell a story, we need to decide what it is that our message is and how we're making it. And there's certain things that fit as comedy, and there's certain things that don't. If it was going to be a comedy, I think they needed to take it even further. But I think it was too close to the edge for us to be able to tell what it was. And so we were just uncomfortable with it.
No amount of money was worth that excuse my language, junk.
I was like, what is she going to say? Oh, no, junk.
So basically it was called Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. I would say skip this show, save your soul.
Yes, I love that. Skip this show, save your soul.
Save yourself.
And one of these times.
Maybe next time.
We'll watch something good. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us again. And we'll try to not be so punchy next time. So, Rebecca.
Until next time, it's just been me.
And me.
Talking to you from the wings.